Welcome to paradise. We've come to the Turks and Caicos Islands here in the heart of the Caribbean. Turquoise waters, white sand, sunshine all year round. This place just looks like your classic screensaver. But behind all of this, there's a problem. Tourists come here in huge numbers and then they leave something behind. Plastic waste. Tons of it. Brought here, used here, washed up from the ocean, and because there's no real plastic recycling system in place, it all just piles up. But what if all this trash could actually be worth something? What if the very people creating this waste could be the same people paying to clean it up? I'll get that. Well, that's exactly why we're here. But to properly explain everything, we need to rewind a little bit. Well, actually about 18 months. So about a year and a half ago, we got this email from a man named Wellington. He's a jeweller from Turks and Caicos, and he'd been thinking about using recycled plastic in his work, but didn't quite know how to get started. And here's the big thing. There's basically no infrastructure for plastic recycling on the island at all. So his plan was to start it completely from scratch, to turn plastic wastes into products on the island and sell it back to tourists, so he could not only reduce the amount of waste going to landfill, but also turn it into a profitable business. Hey Wellington.
Hey Johnny, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, bud. We jumped on a call to find out what it is that you had in mind and figure out a way to actually make this happen. What is it you are looking to do?
Basically, I'm looking to recycle the plastics that we found in my island. I would like to be the first full circular economy recycling business in Turks and Caicos.
Awesome. And it did all make complete sense. But the main challenge, he needed a setup that was easy enough for people to learn that didn't have any recycling experience and wouldn't require a huge amount of investment to get started. What are you thinking in terms of budgets? Are you privately funding this, or have you got like a grant or anything?
Well, my idea is to apply through the MSME program grant, which is with Turks and Caicos Invest. And recycling does fall under the categories that is permitted. Okay, cool. So if you do get that grant, we can essentially skip the DIY workshop stage and go straight into a proper small-scale recycling workshop. Yes, absolutely.
When thinking about what route he should go down, we did consider an extrusion setup, so he could make things like beams, because they use up a lot of plastic waste, and then they can be turned into things like furniture. But because his core customers were tourists, he needed to be able to make things that were small enough and lightweight enough to be able to fit in a suitcase for people to take home. So in the end, we recommended that he invested in a small-scale injection moulding workshop because it's perfect for making lots of high-quality items at scale.
That sounds like a deal.
Excellent, love it. Wellington agreed with this approach, so for the next few months we just went back and forth, bouncing ideas around and trying to decide on a really nice product line that would work for him. It was at this point that we reached out to our friends over at Plasticpreneur and gave them a full brief on the machines that you need and the products that he was hoping to have designed with them. They took all these ideas and turned them into beautifully designed, perfectly engineered moulds designed to work exactly with the machines Wellington's going to be using. Once Wellington was happy with the final designs, they were made out of aluminium and then packed up and shipped out, along with a full set of machines ready to set up a brand new recycling workspace in Turks and Caicos. And now we are finally ready to go. Okay, quick travel tip. If you're heading abroad and don't want to mess around with airport Wi-Fi, overpriced roaming charges, then this is the way to go. Before we even left, we downloaded this app called Saily, which is an eSIM service, which basically means you'll get mobile data without needing a physical SIM card. No dodgy airport kiosks, no swapping out SIMs, just download, pick a plan, and you're sorted. It's super easy. We just picked the Turks and Caicos plan, put our code in for 15% off, and that was it. As soon as we touched down, we switched over to the eSIM in our settings and boom, instant data. There was no faffing around or any need for us to try and find airport Wi-Fi. We were online straight away, letting the family know that we landed, bragging about this insane weather and trying to sort transport out to our villa. And what's really nice is that once you've got Saily, you don't need a new eSIM for every country. It works in over 180 places and it's way cheaper than roaming. If you're traveling soon, then definitely check it out. You can use our link below to grab 50% off your first plan. Trust us, your future self will thank you. Okay, right, time to lose the sunnies? We're good. Actually, let's just get rid of them, ditch them. Loops, brothersmate.com/shop. All right, so we finally landed in Turks and Caicos, and the first thing that struck us, obviously, was just how incredible this place is.
This is wild.
Crystal clear waters, perfect weather. It's no wonder that so many tourists visit here every year. But for now, we've got work to do, so it's time to bring this whole idea to life. This is Wellington's workspace. He's a jewellery maker and an artist, and in this building he creates his entire product range. The pieces they make here are showcased in shops all around the island, as well as his own stores in the middle of town. But this is the exciting part. He's just expanded this entire top floor and is going to be dedicating it to recycling. That's very loud. Apologies for the noise. On the day we're doing this voiceover, they just so happen to be building another villa next door.
So right now it's all a bit of a blank canvas, but this is where all of the plastic recycling setup is going to take place. The big old window is so that people can come in for factory tours and see recycling happen firsthand. And he's not just going to stop at recycling plastic. Well, no, he wants to look at things like glass afterwards as well. But for now, we're going to focus on plastic for this video.
But first things first, we need to get all this equipment unboxed and set up.
Is that Anson Shell? Let's go. Check out these moulds, fully designed, fully finalised, and just ready to start turning waste into something worth keeping. Seeing them in person after months of planning is just awesome, and now they're ready to be put to the test.
But before we start making products, we need to source the plastic waste we're going to be working with.
So, to keep this operation running smoothly, Wellington needs about 5 or 6 really reliable sources of plastic waste coming in. And for this, we're looking at PP, so polypropylene, and PE, polyethylene.
One of the best sources that he's actually already secured is from the biggest brewery on the island. And they also share their factory with the leading water supplier in Turks and Caicos. Since you can't drink the tap water here, everyone buys water in these giant 5-gallon bottles.
And once they're empty, they bring them back to the factory to be refilled, which is great because it means the bottles get reused. But the one part that can't be reused, the little plastic cap on the top. The factory get loads of these caps back and they're filling up the bins outside the building, but they've agreed to hold these to one side for Wellington to collect every single week. This gives him a really steady supply of this lovely, vibrant blue colour ready to recycle.
And not only that, they're also happy to sell his recycled plastic products in their gift shop because it promotes their collaborative sustainability efforts.
Got some souvenirs now.
Beach bags made from beer bags.
So sick.
That's it, guys.
Let's go. And speaking of selling his products, as I mentioned earlier, Wellington has his own store in town where he showcases all of his artwork and jewellery. That's going to be the main base for selling his recycled plastic range, but he's also setting up partnerships with local businesses who will also stock them. One of the best examples of this is the Turks and Caicos Reef Fund, who very kindly invited us to come and visit on the day that they were feeding all the corals, which was so cool.
They do amazing work to protect coral reefs around the islands and do regular beach cleans. And now, instead of sending the plastic they collect to landfill, they're going to be separating out the correct types and giving them to Wellington to recycle.
But the collaboration doesn't stop there. Right now, the Reef Fund sells these BCD tags, which is essentially ID for scuba divers, which raise money for their conservation efforts. The only problem is that they're made in Korea and then they're shipped over here to be sold. But instead, they're going to invest in a mould so that Wellington can make them right here out of the exact plastic that they're taking from the ocean that they're working to protect. Perfect. That is the exact kind of circular system that just makes so much sense.
And that's the goal, finding opportunities where recycled plastic can be swapped in for something that's currently creating a demand for virgin materials to be used instead.
He's also managed to partner with a bunch of hotels that are not only going to give them their plastic, but they've also agreed to stock his products. So again, a massive win-win. Over time, the goal is to expand this collection network even further. It's about figuring out which industries collect or use the right type of plastic and then redirecting this into small-scale recycling so they can be turned into brand new things.
With the plastic supply now sorted, it's time to get Wellington and his team trained up to start making recycled plastic products.
Right now, we're going to be working with Wellington and 2 of his team members, Daniel and Anna, but after we leave, they're going to be training the rest of the team so everyone in this building knows how to recycle.
None of them have ever worked with recycled plastic before, so we start with a little bit of theory, how to identify plastics, how to work with them safely. Don't worry, it's not quite as dull as it sounds.
But then the fun part, actually making things. And the moment that people see how awesome plastic waste can look when you've given it the right care and attention is just always our favourite part.
They picked it up almost immediately. You could tell that sustainability was at the forefront of their minds. They were separating plastic shreds by every colour and type available, even the tiny little ones, without us even needing to tell them.
Over the next few days, we got them properly trained up, not just with how to work the machines, but how to actually run this as an efficient operation.
And now they're fully trained and ready to take this forward on their own. This means that this is a fully operational and official plastic recycling workspace in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The first of its kind.
And this is what it's all about. The first proper batch of products that are made from material that would have otherwise just gone into landfill.
They fit perfectly with Wellington's other product ranges, so as soon as he's got all the stock ready, they're going to look right at home in the shop.
He's just getting the packaging all finalised now, but we didn't want to wait, so we took these straight to local businesses to get their thoughts. And honestly, the response was awesome. We took them down to a weekly market where Wellington has a stall and sells some of his other products, and the reaction from tourists and passers-by was just amazing. It was so cool. And this is just the start. We're already working on more designs for more moulds so that Wellington can expand its range even further.
But beyond just the products themselves, just having this set up here can hopefully inspire other people to get involved.
Whether that's through collecting plastics, raising awareness, or getting other people to set up a similar system themselves.
This will also be an amazing platform for education, getting schools involved, bringing students in to see recycling up close and first hand, and also showing them that waste can be turned into something beautiful and functional.
And what's really exciting is that this could be replicated in so many other places, especially islands like this where tourism is a major industry. You've got a constant supply of plastic waste and a constant stream of customers coming in ready to pay for that waste and take it home with them.
Now obviously it's not just tourists creating the waste, people live here too, but tourism plays a massive role in the economy. Of course, this is not about blaming tourists or saying they shouldn't come. It's about making sure that there are solutions in place to deal with the extra waste that naturally comes with having so many visitors to the island.
And now, thanks to this brand new workspace, a load of plastic waste is going to be turned into something with an inherent value. And we can definitely say this is not just the beginning. Thank you, man. Thanks for having us all week.
That's a wrap.
Let's sad, actually. Back to the cold.
It has been a delightful week. Time to get home.